Hello, welcome to the W Yachts channel. My name is Tomek, and for over 20 years I have been advising yacht owners on the purchase, financing and registration of vessels in various countries. In this series we'll explain in a simple yet informative way everything you need to know about yacht registration and VAT. Where is it best to register your yacht in Poland, Malta or perhaps the Cayman Islands? While many yacht owners focus on their yacht's equipment, the real decisions, the ones that can cost hundreds of thousands of euros, are made at the desk, not on deck. Because although the topic may seem bureaucratic at first glance, in reality, the choice of flag determines how much we pay, where we can sail, and how safely we can use the yacht. Let's start with the question every yacht owner asks. Where is it best to register a yacht? In Poland, Malta, or perhaps the Cayman Islands? Let's start from the beginning. Every yacht in the world must have a flag, that is, the flag of the country where it is registered. But the flag is not just a symbol on the stern, it's much more than that. It's the yacht's legal identity. It's the flag that determines which law applies on board, in practice, who is responsible for the vessel, its crew and its taxes. A yacht's deck is considered the territory of the flag state. So if your yacht sails under the Polish flag, it's as if you were in Poland, even when you're moored in a port in France, Italy or Croatia. The flag state determines everything: technical requirements, safety procedures, crew employment regulations and taxes. The flag state determines everything: technical requirements, safety procedures, crew employment regulations and taxes. And here we come to the heart of the matter. The key question is whether the yacht will be used privately or registered as a commercial vessel, meaning it will be formally available for charter. This choice has a fundamental impact on taxation. A private yacht is used exclusively by the owner and their guests. It cannot be rented out or operate commercially. It's the simplest, though most expensive model. You pay VAT once and you're set for years. But there's also a second option: commercial registration. In this case, the yacht operates like a commercial vessel. It is formally designated for charters or for carrying passengers for a fee. And this is where the tax magic begins. A commercially registered yacht can be exempt from value-added tax on purchase and may also benefit from deductions on fuel, parts and maintenance services.
These savings can reach hundreds of thousands of euros. For example, in Malta, VAT can be reduced from over 19% to as little as 5%.
For a yacht worth 1.5 million euros, that difference amounts to around 200,000 euros. It's no surprise then that many owners try to take advantage of this model. But remember, such a structure only works if the yacht truly operates as a charter business. And if it's only a sham for the tax authorities, the risk is enormous. Why do such tax benefits exist in the first place? Because maritime law was created not for luxury, but for the economy. Commercial ships, ferries, and fishing vessels have enjoyed tax exemptions for decades. They're strategic sectors of transport and food supply. If they had to pay VAT on everything, they would simply become unprofitable. That's why the European Union, in Article 148 of the VAT Directive, clearly states, vessels used for the transport of passengers for remuneration, for fishing, or for commercial navigation are exempt from VAT. The problem is that luxury yachts are also technically seagoing vessels, so in theory they can fit within these regulations. And this is where interpretation comes into play, whether a given yacht is truly working or merely pretending to be. Today we'll take a closer look at how yacht owners and tax authorities engage in a constant game of cat and mouse, searching for the most optimal tax solutions. This is the main battleground, where on one side owners seek to minimize costs and on the other tax authorities strive to prove that a yacht is a luxury item, not a means of transport. An example of this dynamic relationship is France, which for many years offered the so-called French commercial exemption. Commercial yachts could be completely exempt from VAT, even if they operated solely in the Mediterranean, a setup that was extremely advantageous for luxury yacht owners. However, in 2010, the European Commission deemed this system too liberal and introduced changes. From that moment on, the exemption has applied only to vessels that actually sail on the high seas, which has significantly limited its use. Another example of a creative approach to tax optimization is Malta, which developed an innovative leasing structure. In this system, VAT was calculated on a flat rate basis with a simple assumption: the larger the yacht, the more it sails outside the EU, and therefore the less VAT it pays. However, the European Union considered this approach too creative, and since 2019, Malta has been required to demand proof of voyages outside the EU. Yacht owners must now provide voyage logs, AIS records, and port documents to prove their activity outside the territory of the European Union. Without real data, there's no chance of a VAT exemption, proving that the game between yacht owners and tax authorities is very much alive, with no sign of ending anytime soon. Let's now move on to the most popular flags chosen by yacht owners. Among them, Poland, Malta, Cyprus, the Cayman Islands, and the Marshall Islands reign supreme, each offering its own unique advantages. The Polish flag has become a real hit, not only because of the charm of the Masurian lakes, but mainly because Poland offers the cheapest and simplest yacht registration process in all of Europe. The online registration process is intuitive and easily accessible, attracting many yacht owners from across the European Union. The online registration process is intuitive and accessible, attracting many yacht owners from across the European Union. Meanwhile, Malta and Cyprus are favorite choices for tax reasons. They offer the most effective options for VAT optimization. These countries offer advanced structures that allow for a significant reduction in tax burdens, a key factor for many investors. The Cayman Islands and the Marshall Islands represent the offshore level, offering full confidentiality, zero tax, and an export status for the yacht. This solution is chosen by owners who purchase a new yacht in Europe but register it outside the EU, completely avoiding VAT. The Cayman flag, a light blue ensign featuring the Union Jack and the Cayman Islands coat of arms, symbolizes their status as a British overseas territory. In practice, yachts are divided into two worlds in terms of VAT status, VAT paid, and temporary import VAT. The first is VAT paid, meaning the tax has been fully paid, allowing the yacht to sail freely throughout the entire European Union without any restrictions. It's the safest and most convenient form of ownership, offering peace of mind and freedom from additional formalities. VAT can also be deducted if the yacht is used for legitimate charter business activities. The second is temporary import CECEPOM ICE, which applies to yachts registered outside the EU. It allows the vessel to stay within the Union for up to 18 months without paying VAT. After that period, the yacht must leave the EU, even for just one day out to reset the clock. This approach is popular among owners from the USA, Switzerland, and the Middle East. However, a word of caution: if such a yacht stays in Europe for too long, VAT will be charged on its entire value, which can result in enormous costs. That's why, when buying a used yacht, it's always worth asking, does this yacht have VAT paid status? In most EU countries, purchasing a new yacht involves paying VAT, the rate of which varies depending on the country. For example, in France the standard rate is 20%, in Italy 22%, and in Spain 21%, illustrating how important the choice of registration country really is. Choosing the right registration jurisdiction affects both the financial burden and the obligations that the yacht owner must meet. For vessels imported from outside the EU, a key issue is the obligation to pay customs duties and VAT upon import. The customs duty on yachts in the European Union is typically around 1.7%, although it may vary depending on the vessel's specifications and country of origin. Determining the place of supply of services is one of the most important elements of the VAT taxation model. Determining the place of service provision is one of the most important elements of the VAT taxation model. It can decide whether taxation applies, for example, in Poland or outside the country, which may, among other things, require VAT registration in another state. Now let's talk about the risks, consequences, and strategic decisions involved in choosing a flag state. If the authorities determine that the commercial registration was a sham, the consequences are immediate and very serious. VAT is then charged retroactively, and the yacht is often seized as collateral for the outstanding payment. But that's not all. If the yacht is registered under a company engaged in another line of business, such as construction or manufacturing, that company becomes liable with all of its assets. The tax authorities can seize its bank accounts, contracts, and operating funds, potentially paralyzing the entire business. That's why experienced yacht owners set up dedicated companies that handle only the yacht. These are known as SPVs, special purpose vehicles. It's a small detail, but one that can protect the owner's entire wealth, shielding them from unforeseen legal and financial consequences. Choosing a flag is not only about taxes, it also determines labor regulations and crew costs, which have a major impact on the overall budget. Every crewed yacht, even a private one, must comply with the labor laws of its flag state and with the Maritime Labour Convention, MLC. Some flags, especially the so-called flags of convenience, allow the employment of lower-cost crews while bypassing certain European labor restrictions. Others, like France or Italy, require full compliance with regulations, insurance coverage, and minimum wage standards, which significantly increase operating costs. For large yachts, this difference can amount to several €100,000 per year, a significant figure in the owner's budget. That's why the flag affects not only taxation, but also the day-to-day operating costs of the vessel, directly influencing its profitability. But that's a topic for another episode. There's truly a lot to discuss, and the details are remarkably complex. To sum up, yacht registration is a strategic decision that requires careful thought and thorough analysis. It's not just about which flag flies from the stern, it's about the laws, taxes, and obligations that come with it. Because a yacht is not only a symbol of luxury, it's also a serious legal and financial commitment that must be carefully considered. In the upcoming episodes, we'll take a closer look at specific registration systems in different countries, as well as real cases where tax authorities imposed multi-million euro penalties for tax abuse. If you're interested in the world of yachts, not just the blue sea, but also the law, the money, and the strategy behind it, stay with me. Subscribe to the W Yachts channel because next Saturday we'll release the next episode in this series full of valuable insights. W Yachts, your freedom begins on the water with full awareness and safety.